Magic the Gathering is a game about powerful wizards and the spells they use to fight against another. A game of powerful creatures, monstrous beasts, and the heroes who stood against them. Forces of evil and good, demons and angels, but all of it is ruled by the 5 colors of mana. Let's get to know more about these colors. Blue is the color of control. It tries to control not only what you can do, but what your opponent can't do. Probably the most iconic blue mechanic are counterspells. Counterspells are instant cards that cancel another spell your opponent tries to cast. It denies it and puts it directly into the graveyard. Hard counters are cards that cancel anything, like the aptly named Cancel or the original Counterspell, which was considered too powerful for its low cost and lack of condition to work. That's right, there are counterspells that have conditions to work, making it more balanced of a mechanic. Cards like Censor or Mana Leak give the opponent the chance to pay extra to have their spell resolved. Can't pay the extra? Sorry, your spell got countered. Or instead of paying more, cards like Memory Lapse or Remand prevent the spell from being cast, but it allows the opponent to cast it at some other time, or maybe just right away by paying its cost again. Ultimately, the most used counters are Negate or Essence Scatter, which counter non-creature and only creature spells. This is very prominent since they are reprinted a lot. Blue is the color of intelligence and logic, so it tries to acquire all the knowledge possible to use it against the enemy. This means that blue tries to take its time and doesn't use hasty actions, but well-prepared threats instead. Some of the ways to prepare and acquire this knowledge is deck manipulation, where cards like Brainstorm or Preordain let you arrange the cards you're about to draw. Other examples are cards like Ancestral Recall or Treasure Cruise that let you just draw more cards than your opponent. Yes, these cards are unbelievably powerful and have been banned in a couple of formats, but the draw cards are still out there. In the sense of answering threats that blue didn't counter, it can also bounce permanents to the opponent's hands, or even back to their library. Returning creatures to their owner's hands before they can attack is always acceptable, and even better if you put them back into their library. Blue can also tap permanents, rendering them unusable or transform them into smaller creatures that won't be a threat. Forcing the opponent to stay on the same page while playing the long game is very important to blue. The best example of this is the fact that blue can even take extra turns. Blue usually uses creatures with some sort of evasion. Flying is very common in blue, and even just straight up unblockable creatures. It can take control of the enemy's creatures as well as copying them with shapeshifters or illusions. Another well-known mechanic of blue, but one that isn't really used that much, is milling, which means leaving your opponent unable to draw more cards. On the color pie, blue is placed between white and black as its allies, while green and red are the enemies of the color. It shares mechanics with other colors such as flying with white, hexproof with green, and prowess with red. Some of the most iconic tribes in blue are merfolk, wizards, sphinxes, jinns, and sirens, as well as many creatures from the deep sea such as fish, krakens, leviathans, crabs. If you like taking your time and preventing your enemy of building their win condition, blue is the color for you.